तुमके लाइट ऑन करोगे उन्हें लाइट
Keith, so should we begin?
Yes, I believe.
Would you like to?
I believe we should begin, Ms. Mehra, because I think everyone came here with the thought of starting at 6. We shall surely keep it brief so that everyone also gets to resume their Sunday.
Absolutely. So at first, hearty welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for giving us time, especially the precious time from Sunday evening, and that's usually the family time. So once again, welcome. And so what we are here for is basically to introduce you to a concept, which is a platform called Dreamers and Innovators that we have developed over the years. And this is a first step in creating a revolution in the way education is happening right now. So, but even before we start introducing to you about all the entire platform, I would honestly like to thank all of you for the past 2 years, the extra effort that all of you have put in the past 2 years. We realize it's not been easy. You were the one which was the most affected. We were the most affected. It wasn't easy. While everybody else was at home trying the culinary treats and everything, all of you were working extra hard, not only to keep up with the need, your professional requirements, also taking care of your homes, and more than anything, it was upskilling yourself, because we weren't trained to be teachers teaching online, but it was a big skill that you all acquired. And salute to all of you, because if it wasn't for you all, really don't know what would have happened. So thank you so much for doing that. But that just is one thing that also highlighted that there is a need for change. You know, the change has entered into our lives so suddenly that there is a need for change or to adapt to something that the world now needs. So that is how Dreamers and Innovators was born. But before I explain this, one thing I'd like to explain is, who am I? I'm Rohina Mehra. I am essentially started out as a parent. I've been working earlier so I'm a maths graduate, and then after my MBA was working in the bank, and then I'm an entrepreneur. So my journey all with Dreamers and Innovators started a few years ago, about 4 years to be very specific, in which I realized that as parents of 2 children going to school, there was just one thing that was happening, was that the information in the books is absolutely brilliant. But what is happening is that there's a broader picture that these children are missing out on. Also, what was happening was that my children specifically, I realized, were not getting interested into what is the need for current affairs. Because every time we'll sit down and talk about it, you know, they just would want to know more. So hence, this was a concept which we thought we have to come up with. And with Keith sir, Mr. Keith Gomes, we came up with this concept, which is known as Dreamers and Innovators. Now, we'll explain to you what it is. It's essentially a knowledge and a skill building workshop, where what we are trying to do is trying to create an awareness in these children about current affairs, actually trying to create a love for current affairs. And we must tell you that we have really been very successful with this. So we like to share about that journey also. And we'll explain to you our methodology, our philosophy, and everything in detail. But first comes, what is the need? Now, you know, the statistics, there's a very interesting statistics, and the statistics reveal that India is the youngest country. And when we say India is the youngest country, it'll be maybe, I mean, all of you are very learned people. So, but there's just information which I find very fascinating, which I like to share, is that 54% of our population is under 25 years of age. Now that kind of blows my mind, because just imagine if this 54% of population can be, we can train them, we can kind of create their minds to start thinking on a different level and start being involved in the global affairs and current affairs and questioning and improve their creativity skills, where would we be? So already Indians are creating a huge revolution outside the country and within the country also. But let's make this generation a little more equipped to be able to handle the current, what the current scenario, current world is demanding. And hence, we need to do a little change in the way things are. So, or maybe with these knowledge capsule courses, we can do a lot more magic. So here is what was Dreamers and Innovators idea born. Then we have another thing is that the technology has, of course, seeped into our lives. So children need to use this technology to their advantage, and they can do that. So in order to follow your current affairs, it's really not a difficult thing. So what are we doing? We are encouraging them to start looking at their gadgets in a different perspective, not just their social interaction, but we are trying to create a revolution where the children are now trying to copy the others, copy their peers for the sake of compete with the peers for the knowledge of what is happening in the world. That is our mantra. Then, of course, what we are trying to do is that we are trying to help the schools in a certain way that, you see, the knowledge is brilliant in terms of what they're doing. But we understand that it's a holistic picture, which is definitely not possible for the children to know everything in one go. So we do these capsule courses in which we explain the holistic picture. So when a child studies, they understand that this is where the relevance is. So maybe at this point of time, this is all sounding a little vague, but what we'll be doing is we'll be taking you forward through the rest of the PPT, which will elaborate on what we are doing exactly. And we'll be also explaining to you the modules that we have created that will explain a little more. So what I'd like to do is, I think, Keitha, we can move on to the next slide and elaborate on that. So D&I is all about knowledge and skill building. So welcome again. And over to you, Keitha.
All right. Good evening, everyone. And I'd obviously like to also take my part in thanking everyone present here. And I'd also especially like to extend a warm thanks to Matthew, sir, for his kindness in sharing the word about D&I with the teacher community that he has, the educator community that he has at AIEF. And we're really grateful to have a chance to interact with all of you. Like Mrs. Mehra has already specified, Dreamers and Innovators was born out of a need that a parent already witnessed within her own household with her own children, that the children were motivated as far as the academic sense went, but not in the overall sense of becoming aware citizens of a modern world, where this awareness is what truly births opportunity. It is skills and knowledge that once combined that create a path for true success in the life of individuals. And I think as individuals yourself, you already recognize that. That's exactly what we realize should be introduced to young people at a young age, so that as they develop, as they reach, you could say, an age of maturity, they've already got all that foundational sense of awareness of the world, and ease to handle information, as well as the skill set required to present themselves with power wherever they walk in. Now, what exactly does D&I provide in terms of the need? First and foremost, a D&I is not a platform where kids come with an expectation of being ace credited toppers or something. We believe in starting with nothing but common sense. So anyone who walks in here, even if they just can apply a little bit of logic, that is more than enough for them to participate in D&I. Our primary target with every learner at D&I as they become a dreamer with us is that we focus on changing their mindset towards learning. Learning is more energized, inclusive, and collective at D&I. Besides that, one beautiful thing that we've observed over the past 4 years of our work is that a lot of the participants who've worked with us, they eventually start complimenting us, saying that being in class is become so much more easier. So we've had children from the social sciences stream who've always told us that I did not enjoy my history class before D&I, but ever since D&I happened, things have changed for me. We've had children as young as like 7th, 8th graders tell us that now they understand economics in their classroom and they're talking about things like GDP and inflation just in passing. So it's all about small little differences in their life through understanding that take them a long way. Besides that, we have a philosophy called the antenna philosophy. Mrs. Mehra came up with this a long time ago, where we believe we put an antenna on the head of every dreamer that comes to us. What we do simply is that there's so much information and data around them, especially because of their devices and their parents talking and their teachers talking and their friends talking. Most of the time, this information just falls on infertile ground. But when you become a dreamer, every single piece of information that you somehow gain access to is comprehensible to you. You're able to understand things. You're able to critically review them. And most of all, you're able to have an independent opinion on things. We've seen that currently the world is plagued by a herd mentality where it's very easy to rouse people up by fear. With DNI, we focus on young minds becoming completely independent of any sort of external influence of thought. They believe in what they learn, research, and then apply. Finally, we train the kids to focus on two very important things. Given that at DNI, everything is done in activities which are focused on collaboration and competition, every child develops a sense of accountability towards their team members. Not only does this hone leadership, effective behavior, but it also creates a sense of trust that a child has in their own selves. That means confidence is born. At schools, I think you as educators must have noticed, there are a lot of children who just stay in that back bench and they never move forward. And it's very hard for a teacher to constantly pay attention to that 3 little kid block in the corner when they've got 42 other kids to focus on. And that's where DNI is playing a vital role today. We're trying to make sure that not only the outspoken child, but even that silent, meek one, every one of them gets an opportunity to work in a small, concentrated focus group and develop their skills, speak up, and learn to love their own thoughts and ideas and expression. All right. Now, with that, we've covered all the needs. Let's come down to exactly how DNI starts putting these needs being solved into an order. First, our philosophy, make all learning more engaging. That's how DNI works. So Mrs. Mehra has already pointed you in the direction of current affairs, becoming aware of the world. Becoming aware of the world is no small feat, even for grown-ups. For a child, it's all the harder. But to make it fun is where DNI steps in. We try to put everything into a context. We create a flow, a sequence of causes and effects, a chain of how things were problems that eventually kept being solved through time. And this sort of flow that is created when it is put into a session through activities, a lot of engagement, challenges, that's where children really start to enjoy learning about these things. Next important thing, exactly what is the learning? The learning, like I've already specified, starts from the historical context of something we're learning about and goes all the way to the contemporary facts about it. To give you a small example, let's say there's an issue related to technology, like Facebook renaming itself Meta. Facebook's complete rebranding has to do with the great revolution in technology right now called Web 3.0, blockchain, and metaverse. We've actually had kids go through our technology module and completely understand how Facebook's rebranding associates to this larger technological revolution as a trend. So that's one example. We've got lots of these. Finally, and most importantly, our methodology. We will be elaborating on this shortly, but just know the core word of our methodology, interaction. Since DNI gets to work with concentrated groups of maximum 12 kids, there's immense amount of interaction. By the end of 4 to 5 sessions, we've had to ask our kids to calm themselves down so that we could share something from our side. That's how much interaction goes on at DNI. Lastly, the skills. Without skills, knowledge cannot be put into practice. Knowledge stays in the mind. To put it into practice, you need skill sets. And that's where DNI has been focusing on something before it even became a trend in India, and we're really proud of that. So 21st century skills are the peak of innovation in skill development today's world. Even CBSE is now an ambassador to having this within their own protocols and programs. DNI has been doing this way before, and we're really proud of that. We focus on the 4 C's. I'm just going to elaborate these further, the IMT, the flips, as well as other skills. All right. I hope everyone's able to keep up. If case you have any doubts, do not worry. We will have a short questionnaire round at the end of the webinar. Now, what are the kind of skills we focus on? As you can see to the right, the 21st century skills are basically the 4 C's. That's collaboration, creativity, communication, critical thinking. The IMT, this is all the forms of literacy. Literacy, as in all your teachers are aware, it's just about becoming friendlier with different mediums. So being able to handle media, being able to handle technology, being able to handle information, test its credibility, and then utilize it for value. Lastly, flips. Flips are the skills I believe that all schools have focused on since time immemorial. Flexibility in children, their ability to become leaders, their desire to have initiative whenever they're in a situation, their overall productivity. That's something I think schools already master. DNI just plays a supplementary role in increasing productivity in kids. And social interaction. Social interaction, we're focusing on immensely because we're trying to create as many possible avenues for dreamers to communicate with each other. Another example of that I'd love to give you is the DNI newspaper or the newsletter. We publish it on a weekly basis where a lot of the dreamers who attend our modules write opinions. And that's, again, an opportunity for them to not interact just with their peers, but over social media on all our channels. Next, soft skills. Soft skills basically are the skills that no human is born with. You learn that at home, you learn them in society, you learn them at school, and we continue to focus on them as well. How do you communicate with your peers? What is your body language supposed to be? How do you present your ideas in a format that is easily digestible to others? How do you show your intentions? How do you negotiate with people when you're in a surrounding where there's more than one person in the room? All of these, again, become a part of our collaborative exercises. One important thing that DNI always does, nothing is outrightly said to the child. Everything is subtly absorbed by the child through the process of being in the session. The cognitive skills. Cognitive skills have been a forte of schools already. We've basically gone on to incorporate them because there is no learning without cognition. So cognitive skills, primarily problem solving, that's something we really focus on a lot. Most of our challenges are in the form of problems that young people have to arrive at a solution for as a team. Visualization and research is something we really focus on, something as simple as making them more friendly with a map. So we did a module about the different types of refugee crises that exist on our planet right now. And we had a hyper focus on the Palestinian crisis. So for that, we made the children become well-versed in reading the map of the Middle East. So that's when a child visualizes the knowledge that they have, and therefore is not only are they able to comprehend it, but they're even able to present their opinions on it in a more productive way. So these are overall our skills, and there's a lot more that's under the rug. We haven't brought that out yet, but yes, as we go on further and as we hope you end up having a relationship with us, you'll get to learn more about what we do. Besides this, this is our methodology. Overall, the flow, it's the lesson plan ka backbone. Now, how does this backbone exactly work? Every session starts with an icebreaker, an interaction. Try to warm up the kids. We've done something as simple as play a game of word shake on the internet, or we've done something as simple as trying to introduce ourselves in funny ways. Once the kids are warmed up, we already start distributing them into groups. Once they get into groups, they already get into a groove with their partners because they start getting pally with them. And they also know now that they're in a team, they have a responsibility to their team. That increases their focus. So now they're not just playing for themselves, they're playing for their team, and no one wants to be the one who gets the team down. Next, competition. We've created a healthy competition situation in DNI where the competition isn't about rewarding yourself. The competition is about exploration and the outcome of it. So we sort of create this scenario where every team, when it wins, it just experiences a sense of pride. And that pride itself is the reward that they possess. So the competition stays constant in the form of challenges provided in group activities. Analysis. Analysis is the part where the children now apply whatever content they've been exposed to throughout the activities. So they start dissecting things, they start developing a rationale on things, they start arguing, they start coming down to conclusive results on things, and finally comes the presentation. At DNI, each individual must contribute. There is no session where we leave a person left behind. That's how DNI works. That means every participant who is in the room will end up either giving an opinion, presenting their research, or answering the questions of other team members who are still left in the blue. As a result, everyone is constantly contributing.
I can just...
Ms. Mara, could you just mute everybody? Yeah, I request
I've
everyone.
just done that. Yes,
yeah, everyone, please do stay on mute. Thank you so much. It sort of distracts a little bit. Thank you so much. So overall, this is what we really wanted to focus on. DNI's needs, as in what DNI saw as a need, and DNI said, these are not just needs of everybody, these are also our needs, so we're going to help fulfill them. How we're fulfilling them, what are the skills we are primarily addressing, and what has our methodology been. From here on out, I'm going to pass on to Mrs. Mehra. She's going to show you our offerings and what our content is all about. And finally, we're going to try to get your opinion on things as well in the final segment of today's session. Thank you, Mrs. Mehra. Please take over.
Thank you, Keith, sir. So actually, it's been a wonderful way Keith sir has explained everything. Now, what I'm going to basically do is explain to you what exactly are we offering to the children. So, and what is our approach. So see, as we mentioned that my journey with DNI started as a parent. So we've always worked in the reverse order, that what is it that is a need today. So what I would do is I would probably look at it that this is something that the children should be knowing, but how do you actually explain? So what we do is we design these modules. And when we design these modules, we use, what we do is we have sessions once a week. And in that particular thing, it'll be depending upon two things. Our modules are decided depending upon two things. One is what is their academic calendar, because we understand academics is very important. You have to focus on your exams. So we design based on that. Secondly, we design the modules based on what is the root cause of the issue, and accordingly we do that. So modules are these which are once a week process, and they will go up till about 4 weeks to 8 weeks. We've had modules till about 12 weeks. We will just give you an example of that. Then we do these workshops in institutions in which we do these short courses, short workshops in which we are telling them, because as Keith sir had very rightly said, that, you know, it's not that we all are aware of what is happening in the world. And many a times we are not able to relate to what is happening, because when we open the newspapers, we adults also have a lot of, hits and misses. We do not understand everything. So when we understand the root cause, it's so much easier to relate to the present. So that is how we design our workshops. Then, of course, we have something on which we focus on building the skills. Now, when we build the skills, what we've also done is something which is very innovative module that we have, which is known as the Debaters Club. Now, this is a very intense Debaters Club in which the children get together. They're given topics, research, but more importantly, they are taught these tools, how to build an argument. So we have come up through research, through a lot of feedback from the parents, from children. We have these modules in which the children are learning how to build the arguments, how to deliver it properly, and at the end of it, have the right impact. So what eventually happens is they get very comfortable in their own space. Then we have another one, which is known as Stay in Touch. Now, for the children who cannot continue to, obviously, when they're, the academic pressure rises, they cannot be attending. We do not expect them to attend all the modules. So what we do is we encourage them to attend this workshop, which is online workshop. Once in a month, we always do it, which is known as Stay in Touch. Stay in touch with the current affairs. So through Dreamers and Innovators, what we are basically trying to do is we are trying to give them the antennas to be able to adapt the current affairs, form their opinions, which is not based on what the media is telling you, based on what is right, is what they should be doing, to be able to participate in any discussion that is happening around and not feel any lesser. Because in all honesty, it comes from a mother, it comes from a person who, while growing up, always felt that I don't know enough. Now, somebody who always thought that, okay, there are other people in the class who are doing well, I would never probably go forward and make an extra effort to learn more. So to break that barrier is how Dreamers Innovators is born. Now, just to give you an idea that what are the modules that we're talking about. So this will give you an idea of the knowledge that we are trying to impart. So we did the refugee crisis. This is where we spoke about the different refugee crises that have rocked the world. And you can see quite a few of them are here. But it'll be difficult. It'll be a lot of time that I'll take away from your precious time if I start explaining each and every module. So we've just picked up nuclear race to begin with. Now, nuclear race is a module that we wanted to tell the children that what is this Iran nuclear deal that we are talking about? Because at that point of time, Iran nuclear deal was in news. It is still in news. It has been in news for a while. And it is something which can impact the world because it's talking about nuclear weapons with countries like Iran also acquiring the nuclear weapons. And now with the Ukraine crisis, we totally understand what this means. It definitely is not a toy. So hence, if we just tell the children, all right, let's get together and we'll just discuss Iran nuclear deal, I'm pretty sure nobody would be interested and nobody will even understand. So what was very important was we had to explain to them from the beginning. We started from the simple thing of Einstein's E is equal to mc squared. And that is before the World War II. So we started with that, in which we spoke about the need why was there a need for nuclear weapons, and then how did this nuclear race entirely started, which led to the Cold War, in which we discussed communism, capitalism. Then we spoke about Cuban Missile Crisis when the world was on the brink of World War III. And then we spoke about how this has backfired with Chernobyl, with Fukushima. How is this exactly not such a nice thing that's happened? We spoke about India's nuclear story, and we also spoke about Iran nuclear deal. Now, honestly, all this that I'm saying is just the tip of the iceberg, because it just doesn't do justice to what all has been done. Because when the children were doing this, they were relating to so much more. And each time a topic is done, so what we do is we have a 1.5 hour session in which this entire session is explained to them beautifully, and there are activities one after the other. And you know what kind of activities are very interesting because they're Pictionaries, they're crosswords. There is something which we've come up with, which is known as Dog in the Bone, which we used to play. You know, these things are there. And then we have mischief managed, we have bingo, we have reverse bingo, we have comprehension exercises, and they all work in teams. So it's so much fun because when we have a session which is going on, there is energy. So, you know, honestly, in all honesty, you all, well, while I'm conducting this, I'm just getting into my elements because we are all bunch of actually just having fun, laughter, and it's so interactive and engaging because the moment we do one topic, quickly there is an activity. So, and how they do this activity is that they'll go to their rooms, in the breakout rooms, and they will be discussing this. They will be collaborating with the peers. They're learning teamwork. What they're learning is how to be a good listener, and then they come back in and then they deliver. So automatically what happens is there's an accountability. The children are learning that if I do not understand right now what is being taught here, I will not be able to perform in my team. And hence that accountability comes in. So when they do that, they come out of the team, they are more comfortable, and then they will answer all the questions. I mean, they will solve whatever task is being given to them. And similarly, a little more content, another activity, and we are just basically, I think Keitzer and I are the most serious right now here. And anybody, if all our kids are here, they'll understand that anybody else, any parent who would is probably will completely understand that it's just the most serious we have been in so many years in a session. So it's all about having fun. It's all about engaging them and creating magic, because the children can do so much better. The children are doing, I mean, all of you are doing a fantastic job. I'm sorry, I don't mean to say anything against it. It's just that the children today need to be empowered with the knowledge that the world, what is happening in the world, for them to be the visionaries. So that's our focus that we are doing. So similarly, there was another one that we just did was the technology takeover. Keitzer just mentioned to you about that. The big news was Facebook and Insta has changed to Meta. Now, what is this Meta? It is about metaverse. And in fact, in today's, while I was reading Anonymous, there's a very interesting thing. It said that what is exactly happening now is that the sale of all the mobile phones across the globe has started declining. It came to me as a big shock. And what is really rising is the VR headsets. That's the technology that is coming into our lives in a big way. And before we realize, we'll all be talking about metaverses, and there's more than VR. Now we are talking about a mixed reality. So augmented reality, mixed reality is what we are talking about. Now, in order to explain this, we started from what is 1G to 5G, the journey. And what is G? It's just a generation. So what is the transition? What is Internet of Things? What is AI and machine learning? What is robotics? What is cybersecurity? What is blockchain and cryptocurrency? Metaverse. So we are doing this with the idea that today, tomorrow, when a child or an adult opens the newspaper or just hears some news or on their phone, something flashes here, the child relates to it. And with great pride, I can say that there are some parents who've told us that, please, what is happening is that on our dinner tables, the kind of conversations have now changed. The children tend to know more than us. And that's a huge moment of pride for Keith sir and me, because honestly, it started as a very small effort because we wanted to create this change. But in these 4 years, after conducting offline and online modules, we are here to share our journey with you and see how we can take this forward. Because truly, this 54% of the young population can create a complete revolution, and India can be right up there. And we already are at a very advanced stage. So together we can do it. As educators, we really can. So we seek from you your guidance, your support, how to take this forward. So here it is. Kisa keeps reminding me that, okay, Mrs. Mehra, don't go off track. Here it is, because it just tends to get a little more passionately into this. So we are doing this. This is about, we worked on, when we're doing it in the 1.5 hour session that we did, on each time we do, we are focusing on getting them to analyze. So it's not about anybody who is a topper in the class. It's about anybody who can talk or who can analyze is here, and somebody who can learn to develop your analytical skills. They learn to be creative. There is competition, but there isn't so much competition. So what we are trying to do is, through all the various activities, they are getting there, right? Anything else you want to add on this particular one, Kitsa?
Yeah,
if
all
I
right.
missed out anything.
I'll just do so. So
Yes,
everyone,
sir.
we're just going to quickly walk you through what a session at DNI looks like. So at DNI, for example, this is the session we did on India's journey to the nuclear club, which was a part of the nuclear race, which Ms. Mehra earlier mentioned to you. Since we were really concerned with talking about the Iran nuclear deal, we somehow wanted to make the picture very clear to the kids. So we basically got all the blocks and we put all the blocks together. This is one of those blocks. Now, what do? Before the session, before the kids even appear, and it doesn't matter what they come with, all we need them to do is just check out an audio visual that we've sent to them pre the session. So before the session, they watch this audio visual and they basically just get this good idea of some of the words that are floating about. So everything that you learn always has some jargon to it, right? There's some technical terms you need to know. So our goal is that before they come into the session, they already have got a fair idea of what some of these terms are, so that they don't sit blank when they're going to start talking and interacting with each other in a session. Now, during the session, what did we do? We went through the Cold War timeline. We spoke about mutually assured destruction, which was a threat created by nuclear warheads, non-aligned movement, which is basically the choice made by countries such as India and other North African countries who did not want to be a part of the entire situation that was created by warhead creating countries at the time, such as the United States of America, USSR, Britain, France, etc., etc. Then we focused on India's nuclear race timeline. So how did India go on to develop its nuclear technology, and how it was not in tandem with the imposition of the non-proliferation treaty being forced by first world countries such as America and others at the time. And this was a very, very strong stance taken by our leaders at the time. And kids need to be aware of where India's nuclear story comes from, because right now, given that there's such a scenario with Russia and Ukraine going on, when the child reads about nuclear, the child from DNI knows what's nuclear. They know how India relates to that nuclear, and they know how nuclear can get dangerous and messy. So we've basically covered all the needed potential pieces of information so that they can decrypt, they can get rid of this coding and the way it's written in the newspaper. That's our goal. That's simply our goal. So that at tea time, the child is no longer just sitting and talking about their video games or what it's like to play with their friends. They're actually telling their parents, you know what, I think India shouldn't take a stance right now. And that's the kind of stuff that we marvel at ourselves. And by the way, we've seen children as young as 10 do this. I am an educator. I've worked at a bunch of schools in Delhi. I've been mind blown by the things I've seen at DNI. And I've always told Mrs. Mehra, I don't understand why are we doing such challenging things. When we started off, I remember this used to happen. And yeah, please be on mute. Thank you so much. Yes. So I remember Mrs. Mehra used to always come up with these challenging pieces of information that we should do with the kids. And I was like, no, wait a minute. The kids are too young for this. And she's like, no, let's try. Let's do this. And guess what? A child's mind is super malleable. It's a sponge ready to absorb as long as you make the journey of learning simpler. And that's what DNI does. It's about the fun in learning. Then we speak about the key parties and the key figures involved. Then we went on to talk about some of the treaties that India signed, which were quite interesting at the time. And then finally, we even added the new Pakistan's nuclear race, because there's some interesting stuff we wanted to mention about our neighboring countries to them. Then finally, what is post-session? There's always a writer of the week. So in our modules, we are currently doing writers of the week, but we're trying to introduce some new ideas also. We're thinking of having journalists and presenters of the week as well from here on out. So we're constantly innovating at the lab. So right now we have writers of the week where we release a weekly newsletter where everyone's opinion on the knowledge that they've got in the session is provided in that newsletter. So we always choose 3 writers to share. So that means not only are they participating in the session, they have a responsibility towards carrying that knowledge further. And their opinion pieces can really blow your mind. We've got them all up on our website and on Instagram. So we will provide you links. We've already done that on the WhatsApp group. Please check them out. You can also yourself get a lot of knowledge from those newsletters. We've got a lot of parents say that they're actually devoted readers of our newsletters because they want to get knowledge from their kids. Now, what happens with the activity side of the session? So that was just the knowledge content. With activities, we'll start with something analytical, then we'll focus on their creativity. So they will build some of their content, like we mentioned, an activity called Bingo. It's basically an activity around the use of keywords where they predict the sort of keywords that can come in a particular potential topic they face. Then competitiveness. So there's crosswords, quizzes. I think most of the teachers here are masters of that kind of stuff because that was used, I think, vociferously throughout the period of the past 2-3 years, where everyone was using Kahoot and Quizzes and so on. Analytical, this is where they now focus on different aspects of the content and try to sort of dissect it. Here you can see we discussed about a big transition that happened in Nehru's stance on nuclear weapons to Vajpayee's stance. And this was ourselves. It was pretty interesting for us also to learn this, and for the kids, it was more tremendous, I would say. And then finally, collaboration and accountability, which I think we've repeated enough times. So this is overall how one session for 1 hour, 30 minutes at DNI feels like. Yes, Ms. Mehra, over to you.
Thank you, Kitsa. I think we can move on.
All right. So I think now is the time to show you guys something fun. So everybody, we're going to be sharing a quick video clip. And on this video clip, we're going to be unveiling to you a little bit of feedback given by our own dreamers. We've done a webinar earlier. And at the webinar, 2 of our dreamers had volunteered to come share their own love for DNI. And we'd love for everyone to have a look at this. So just give me a second. I hope everyone can see this. Ms. Mehra, can you see this? Yes. All right. So I'm turning on the audio. Please let me know if everyone can hear it. You can just do a virtual thumbs up. All right.
Good afternoon to all present here. My name is Anadia Mittal and I am currently studying in grade 11 as a student of Modern School Vasant Vihar. So I have been a part of the Dreamers and Innovators family for approximately 3 years now. And my first module with DNI was one that I was forced to be a part of. It was during the summer vacation and my mother was sick and tired of me clinging to my devices. So she enrolled me in DNI. And little did I know that I would keep going back for more. What attracted me to DNI was the style and enthusiasm with which Keith sir and Roina ma'am taught us. The simplified teaching material, when it was mixed with the easygoing environment and when you garnish it with the interactive activities, it made Dreamers and Innovators all the more appealing to me. DNI has also instilled within me a sense of confidence as I was aware that I was in a non-judgmental space. It has brought about a change in me as it has also motivated me to learn more and research on the events that have taken place either in the past or are currently in motion. DNI has also allowed me to flaunt my knowledge, and at times it has allowed me to surprise those around me. An example of this would be this recent situation in Afghanistan. Post the DNI modules, I have learned a lot about Afghanistan and its past events, of which the present is a domino effect. This has allowed me to be a part of the various discussions that people have that take place around me. It has also brought out my competitive side, and it has taught me the art of collaboration through its informative yet fun activities such as the crossword, the reverse bingo, and many more. My DNI journey has overall been an extremely fruitful one, and I hope it continues to be the same, if not for me, for others who wish to join it. Thank you so much.
Anadia, thank you so much, beta. You were, thank you. You've always been there, and thank you for being there. Okay, moving on to Arhan. Arhan, thank you for logging in, beta, and over to you.
Yes, so good afternoon, everybody, respected educators. My name is Arhan Gupta, and I'm a student of Modern School Barakhamba Road, and I'm in 8th class currently. So I have been in DNI for the last 2 months, as ma'am said, and it has been a really joyful experience. doing DNI it has helped me to understand and speak about the relevant social issues and other things, which is great fun. And and it has also and the best thing about DNI is that they teach me through interacting. Like in other schools you see they teach us through books, but here I'm interacting with my teachers and my other online friends, which is really great. But the cherry on the top of the tree is when I can flaunt my knowledge, because my mom, my dad, and my friends are really impressed by my insight, and that's a great feeling. Doing the DNI has also improved my teamwork skills immensely, and I look forward to joining each and every session, each and every module, because it's so fun. It's the best. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir.
So yeah, there you have it. Miss Mera, do you want to say something?
I know we really get excited. So
Yeah.
this is just something that we wanted to share with all of you. And genuinely, I must say that we've just tried to explain what we are doing, but it's just honestly a tip of the iceberg, because we typically don't really have a set methodology. We do not have a set content. We just have clear intentions. We just have a clear goal. Our goal is to basically, if I put it in simple Hindi words, that when they pass out from school, you know, let's just put it that they're more aware. They are, so when they're thrown in an environment, in a group discussion, because now everything is changing, they are able to just pick up a conversation and be confident, because true confidence comes with knowledge, and that is so important. So what we'll also like to share with you is what we are actually offering at this point of time. So besides just that, all the modules that we've done are already okay. Before we move on, sorry.
Yeah,
So
I'm sorry, I didn't specify this earlier. So
Yeah.
yes, so one thing I just like to say about the feedback, I just love the fact that everything that Mrs. Mehra and I said, like, kept on talking to you guys about, the kids just explained that whole thing in a matter of 4-5 minutes. We should have just played that video at the beginning itself.
Right.
Before Mrs. Mehra goes on to unveil what we want to share with all the members of institutions, that is the educator community that's present with us here today, we just would like to take a moment of pride. DNI has been growing, and we're extremely, I'll be very honest, I particularly, because I was brought onto this journey with Mrs. Mehra because she wanted to work with a teacher who was excited for it. I am so glad that I did it, because our team is growing and it's been fantastic in the past few months. Especially the excitement has been just at the zenith. Currently, as you can see, it's been Mrs. Mehra and I who've been taking charge of things. But with that, our team has expanded. We've got new mentors on board. We've also got a young debater who is actually a national level debater. He's the debate trainer for the team of Nepal, and he's an Oxford level debater. He's been training our debaters at the Debaters Club. So when Mrs. Mehra said the Debaters Club can get aggressive, yes, we mean it. It can get aggressive, because there we have a serious trainer trying to train the young ones with exactly the stuff that matters at the international level. So that's something DNI again focuses on. Because of our intentions being clear and honest, we just end up serving always quality. That's the beauty of DNI. All the time, it's just quality after quality. Like after every session ending, Mr. Mehra and I have this moment of patting each other's back also, where great, we did it today. Wonderful day. Yes. So we are very happy to share this joy with you also. And we're very proud of the team that we have currently with us. And we're really hopeful of DNI going great peaks hereafter. So now we'd like to share with everyone what we truly wish to offer the community that's with us. I'll just specify it. Mr. Mehra, you can then go on to add and clarify anything you'd like to. So there are 3 current divisions within which we are operating and reaching out to everybody in our efforts to spread our wings. The first is a teacher partner program, where we basically are trying to get more associate mentors to work with us, and also looking for teachers who already have pre-existing student communities with them, who would benefit from DNI style of learning, from current affairs, and from skill development. The second is our institutional partner program. This is something we've been effectively doing for the past few months, and we're really happy with where we're headed. Our primary focus with this has been to take free of cost workshops to the schools, so that schools have something extra on their belt to offer to the kids, and the kids get to know how there's a massive world beyond the textbook as well, which links back to the textbook. A lot of times you might have heard the child says, "Main long division ka kya karunga?" Right? So we're going to help them understand how those little concepts that are floating in their textbooks, they all add up to a greater picture that matters to the life and the development they're supposed to be headed towards. Lastly is our community partner program. This is for basically all parents out there. So if you know any parent who has been telling that, you know what, my child has been doing great at school, I wish they'd be doing something extra. DNI is that extra thing that we've been trying to propose to every parent out there, that your child can learn about the world right now. Why wait for them to file a college application, then go to college and then start reading the news? They can do that now so that tomorrow that college application is an Ivy League college application. You get it? There's a big difference when things start early. And that's something that I honestly have come to learn while doing DNI. So I always thought that children were supposed to be given their time to blossom, but you got to put them in situations of learning. Only when they see there's so much to learn, they get motivated to learn. And you can see both the kids who gave feedback said one thing in common. We love flaunting it. Kids love flaunting knowledge, okay? So get them off flaunting their cell phones and their cool new sneakers. Get them to flaunting on the things they know so that everyone's like, whoa, what do they know? So that's the kind of stuff that's been exciting. Yes, and everybody that's been with us at DNI. Mr. Mehra, please. Thank you.
All right. Yes, so I'll just like to explain to you what exactly are we offering at this point of time. So besides all the modules for which are there on our website or social media, everything is ready. But at this point of time, what we are, what kids are presently doing is one module which is known as Speeches of Visionaries. Now, when we do these Speeches of Visionaries, we are basically covering the 6 iconic legendary speeches. And in that, we are basically inculcating interest. When we do this, the children are learning to think big, dream big. Similarly, there is Rivalries of Visionaries. This is for children, again, who are younger probably, and they, in fact, everybody should probably be doing that, because supposingly it's Tesla versus Edison, Jobs versus Gates. So these are the people, when they get into a little competition, and the amount of learning, amount of inventions, the number of inventions that have happened have been mind-blowing. So telling them about these stories to inspire them to dream big, because none of them actually inherited it. None of them were gifted with this. They built this. So we are trying to tell them that you can do it too. Now, there's a new module that we are going to be coming up with, which is known as the Changing World Order. As the name implies, this is basically, we can see that China is now rising. The China supremacy is now rising. And it's a fact that a piece of nugget here, information nugget that we like to share with all of you, is that what Uncle Sam, who's United States of America, is today in the biggest debt. It's close to $23 trillion. And when we say debt, that means the decline is not very far. So this is something we know is going to happen. But what is it? Why is China coming to the top? What is it? What are the statistics behind it? There was once upon a time an Ottoman Empire, and now we're talking about China. This entire journey of 125 years. That is what we're going to be covering through this module, in which we're going to be talking about Taiwan's, what is about Taiwan, what is about the supremacy of each nation, why, the trade wars, China's war. So it's going to be a fully information loaded module. Then we are also looking at partnering with the institutions with this workshop, which you want to take, which is known as Back to School. Now, when we say back to school, what we want to tell these children is that these 2 years that they were not at school all the time, going off and on, they learned a lot. They did not learn as much. A few academically, probably they could have with human, or maybe it's a human interaction was so much lesser. So maybe their interactive skills have probably gone down. Their confidence would have been shaken. This all will be, they're working on that. But at the same time, at the macro level, the world has changed. The technology has changed. You have blockchain in everything that we are talking about. What is this blockchain technology? They need to know. What is about the world leaders? Leaderships have changed. USA has a new government, which means new policies. Germany has new leadership, new policies. France is soon going to probably change too. So it's happening across the globe. We have new alliances coming up, new quad groups coming up. The children need to be aware of that. So we want to ignite that interest in them. We want to be the spark in their life to start following what is happening in the world. That is our attempt, and do it by engaging them and not doing it like the way we are actually doing it right now. So typically, if it was a DNI session, we would have put everybody in this room into these breakout rooms and done activities. So, you know, how this is actually, so by engaging them, by motivating them, and by telling them that each person can participate and get out of that cocoon that I cannot do that, and be a self-believer. So for me, it's not about just going to Ivy League college. For me, it's not about accomplishing it there. For me, it's being comfortable right here. So get comfortable in your space, and that happens when you learn more and you are more confident, and then you're ready to swim against the tide. So we're trying to achieve, I think, a lot. So that's what our mission is. And we are also have conducted many workshops for adults on blockchain technology. So in a nutshell, we try to explain, it's actually not a nutshell, we've taken quite a long time, but thank you so much. And Matthew, sir, I need to thank you so much for connecting, for taking this, for creating this opportunity for us. Keith sir has always spoken so highly of you. So thank you so much, Keith sir, for connecting us to Matthew sir, and Matthew sir for connecting us to
the AIEF, yes, to the whole community of educators here. If there's anyone with any questions, we'd be very happy to address them. We'd also love any of your feedbacks, if you could leave, or ideas you'd like to leave for us in the WhatsApp group.
Yes, please.
Yes, and if you do find our work interesting and would like to figure out a way we can build an opportunity together, then please directly reach out to Mrs. Mehra here or myself. We are available on the WhatsApp group. If you need our numbers, we will be posting them shortly on the WhatsApp group, along with our team brochure for everyone to review it. And you can obviously visit our website and Instagram to have a look at currently all the other sort of work that we're already up to. Thank you so much for your time.
And if there's anybody, any questions, please feel free to ask.
That's Matthew, sir.
Hello.
Hi, Matthew, sir.
Thank you, Keith, and thank you, Ma'am Mehra. I think what you have done is something very unique, especially in today's, when people are in that rat race, where people are running after the marks and all that. It's high time we change from that to something more innovative, as something that you are doing.
Sir, you went on mute. Sir, you went on mute. Sir, you're on mute. You're on mute. We can't hear you. I think he's got a connectivity issue. I'm glad, though, he was saying some wonderful things.
I know. And I'm so glad the new education policy, I mean, what we are doing is actually keeping with the new education policy also. So we are happy that how things have turned out. So please,
anyone who would like to ask us anything, please feel free to do so.
Okay, though we are not running after marks for sure, but we never discourage children. I mean, we are always telling the children, that you have to, try and follow your dreams, and more than anything, not just follow your dreams, also focus on your academics.
So I think there's someone called Radhika.
Radhika, yes.
Yes, please, ma'am, go ahead.
Yeah, hi. I really like this thing, the entire content. I actually heard you. I'm so sorry I could not keep my video on. But I would like to know, because this course is very nice. And in fact, my daughter's in class 12. So it's, I want to take it forward to her class and her friends, more importantly, trying it on yourself first, So I would like to know how are you pricing this thing, and how exactly are you going to, how are the children going to be paying for it exactly? Because if I, as a mother, would like to enroll my child, I would like to have
of course, ma'am. So usually what our prices are, it's about 600 rupees for each session. So it's like if it's a 5-week module, it'll be 5 into 600. And what happens is at the end of it, each time they also get a lot of internet presence. So what you can also do is, thank you so much for the kind words, Radhika ma'am. What we'll be very happy to do is, as I said, this is the most stiff I have been in any session. This is typically, it's a very different interactive fun. So what we can be more than happy to do is have an orientation for the children in
Yes.
which we engage the children. So if you ever feel that there is, we'd be more than happy to do that. Radhika ma'am.
Thank you so much. I'll try and get a handful of children because the ones I know, because I know a lot of children who are in this age group, who are going to just get into the college, what you people were talking about.
Yeah.
Like, they can decide for themselves. And once they decide, I think it's easier when children convince their parents, instead of parents children to do it.
Wow,
So
that's wonderful.
The trend has changed. We get to know things from our children. They tell us, "Mujhe ye karna hai, ya mujhe ye nahi karna hai." So this is how we go.
Absolutely. But Radhika ma'am, what I'll be very happy in case, what we can probably do is we'll, again, as I said, we'll have an orientation in which they experience it. And then they'll understand what it is, because truly, I can say with conviction, because D&I is coming from, as a parent and as a teacher. So my daughter is also in class 12th right now. And it all started because when she was in grade 6, I remember she was preparing for her SST paper. And I remember telling her, these were my words to her. I told her, Beta, do it today and tomorrow you can forget it. And trust me, that stayed with me, that bothered me. I said, this is not right. The children have to understand, because what happens is tomorrow a different board comes, anybody not from CBSE or family from US, or they go abroad or whatever, anywhere. The instant question is, what is the population of your country? I mean, I can guarantee that our children do not know the population of, most of the children don't even understand what is the population of our country and why should we know it? Because hame to marks lane. So this is just the barrier that we have to break. Right. And make them understand that is, what you're doing is fine, but you have to add another edge. You have to do that, because this generation can bring a sea change. They really can, and they're way too smart. This generation, as you said, is extremely smart. So a little direction and
mindset, know exactly what they want to do. You can't ensure them and you can't tell them that this is your package. They know what they want to do. And another thing, as you people are giving opportunities, I'll try and speak regarding this to my school people. I don't know how much they will be interested, but I would like to work with you people. If you have any workshops where I can be a part of it or whatever, I'll definitely, because this is something which is appealing me also. So I'll
That's great. Great.
Radhika ma'am, it's a great honor. Great honor. Let's just connect after this.
Yeah, let's connect.
You let us know what is a good time. We'll have a call. We'll definitely. This is a great honor for us.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. This is actually the moment of great pride, because again, D&I comes straight from here, and it's just something which is close to our heart. And we hope to continue doing this. And sometime we like to actually invite you to one of the sessions also, where the children are in a different mindset, completely in a different mood. Anybody else, please? We will be happy to answer any questions, address anything, address any concern or any doubts. Okay. So thank you so much. Thank you for logging in. And we hope that together, all of us can genuinely create a difference. Matthew, sir, I'm sorry you were on mute that time. And,
yes. And then we lost you. Yes. Anything you'd like to say, please, sir?
No, thank you. I think the session was great. We would like to know more about what you do. So keep posting stuff, because the thing is that many of them were probably not able to join, but there may be many more people who would be really interested in this stuff. Because schools have reopened, teachers are very busy, sparing out time is very, very difficult nowadays.
Correct, absolutely, sir.
So we have a group there. If you have something coming up for kids, how they can join, you can get associated with schools. So keep posting in that group.
We'll do that, sir.
So that we come to know what exactly, because we also want the good of our kids. There are a lot of quiz, the clubs are happening in the schools, how you can contribute to that. So keep us updated, I think.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so thanks.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
We are fully charged. We are excited.
Yes, we are.
Trust me, we are fully charged.
Especially after this webinar, yes. We're loving the response. Thank you so much. Thank you so much to one and all.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. Bye-bye.